Hello there everybody and welcome back to Magna Carta 2. In the last video we defeated Elgar and we were just going to leave the Sentinel Laboratory and head out towards Belfort Castle to find out where they took Zephie.
What, you're still here? What are you waiting for? Why haven't you escaped yet?
Well, you see, the thing is, Schuenzeit appeared all of a sudden, so I hid.
Which way did he go?
He went into the palace interior, but the princess was with him. You didn't manage to rescue her?
The interior? Let's hurry!
Calm down, Rue. It's too dangerous to rush in there right away. Schuenzeit's bodyguards are probably looking for us.
That doesn't mean we can stand around and do nothing. If anything should happen to Princess Rusafilda, this time it might be something far worse than being imprisoned.
Schuenzeit went as far as ordering me not to allow Zephie to be killed no matter what. So I think that Zephie is safe. We all want to rescue Zephie as much as you do. You've always been the most level-headed of us. Don't let this shake you. Aren't you the one who is always telling us that recklessness is fatal?
I suppose I am.
For starters, let's return to territory held by the Southern forces and regroup. If there's any strange activity, I'll rescue Zephie, even if it costs me my life.
You're right. We need to be patient for now. Plus, I want to learn what that bastard Schuenzeit really has planned.
Yeah, I'm positive that Zephie will be fine.
The unease I felt had only ballooned up at this new state of affairs. There was something clearly strange about Zephie's unconcerned attitude. That woman doesn't know how to give up. So how could she be so... Before long, the truth landed at our feet, accompanied by a cruel future.
Okay, so after we speak to Nyx, we can leave. And from the laboratory, we're going to be doing a bit of backtracking and going right back to the Southern Army outpost so that we can get a little bit more information. And there really isn't anything to do except for to fight the enemies along the way back to the outpost. There aren't any new chests or any new quests or anything to really pick up, so
Let's go!
at this point it's completely up to you what you want to do, if you want to fight the enemies or not, to gain a little bit of additional experience, or if you'd rather just skip them and continue onwards. What I'll probably end up doing is fighting a couple of mobs of enemies before continuing onwards. But I won't be fighting everything, and what I'll do is I'll save at a pillar and do a little bit of grinding off screen instead, so that people don't have to watch me killing soldiers, because the next couple of videos are going to be extremely key story cutscenes. So there's going to be a lot of talking, a lot of cutscenes, and a lot of fighting soldiers, and that's pretty much it. So it's going to be a lot of repeat in the next couple of episodes, so I really don't want to fight soldiers and just have that trend sort of continue to the point where it just gets tiresome. I mean, it's already tiresome because you fight them all game and they just never stop. But they do put up a good fight, especially if you did do a lot of fighting in the Sentinel Laboratory. All the enemies out here will be at a bit of a higher level, and this gives you a good opportunity to gain a few extra levels and to gain a little bit of Sid as well. We will be heading back to the outpost, so it is going to give us an opportunity to do a little bit of shopping if there was something that you didn't manage to pick up before, or if you need to replenish any of your supplies.
Thank goodness! The seedfall is letting up!
Now we can use wizardry again.
But not for long, I suspect. We must find a way to rescue Princess Rusafilda quickly.
Okay, so that's sort of good news. We don't have to worry about seedfall any longer. So at this point, it gives you a lot of options for what you want your team makeup to be. I'm not going to be fighting for very long at the moment, so I'm not going to worry too much about my party. I did use a variety of different party members when I was in the Sentinel Laboratory, so as you can see, my team is pretty evenly leveled out, and so it may take a little bit to get them all extremely even, but for the most part I think I've done pretty well, kind of mixing it up and using different team members to my advantage. There's a lot of enemies in the square here, but I'm going to ignore them for now. I would definitely recommend saving at the pillar. I'm going to backtrack and do that later, however. And I'm just going to continue on. This should be the last screen before we actually hit town. And once we get back to town, we'll get a couple of cutscenes to watch. And then after that, we'll be told the next place that we're supposed to go. And maybe a little bit more information on how it is that we plan on getting Zephie back from Schuenzeit.
I hear that the Southern Forces' top dog has come to Belfort to discuss a ceasefire.
I wish they'd end this stupid war already. I've had it up to here with these damn doom seeds.
Yeah, but what about those Northern Forces troops in the square in front of the castle? Why are they assembled there?
Beats me. Maybe they're really gonna announce a ceasefire agreement.
What?
That top dog must be Alex, right? What do they mean, ceasefire?
There are certainly odd rumors going around.
Northern Forces troops are in front of the palace? The only thing we know for sure is that something is going on.
What do we do?
For now, I will go reconnoiter the square. The rest of you, find somewhere to hide and stay on alert.
Okay, so while Rue does a little bit of investigating, the rest of our party's gonna kind of spread out and have a little bit of rest in town. Now, what I strongly recommend doing is buying stuff from the merchants. And the reason for that being is because it's going to be the last chance for us to buy anything for a long while. And like I said before, we have a lot of battling coming up, so if you're low on supplies, or if you think you might need something, then I would pick it up just to be sure, because you really never know. And it never hurts to be prepared. And at this point, you should have a lot of money. I know I do. And at the moment, I could pretty much buy anything that I wanted. Although I have stocked up in town the last couple of times that I've been here. So I don't actually think that I really need anything. There might be a couple of accessories that may be useful to have, such as the Ring of Vigor to make me immune to stun. Exhaustion might be something that we run into down the line, but everything else I think is good. If we don't have an accessory for it, then we definitely have a command to cover it. I have a lot of really good commons that we picked up from all of the battling that we've been doing, but I'll pick up a couple of more. I haven't looked at my common board in a little while, but it may be good for me to kind of do that off screen just to make sure that everything looks good, and to maybe utilize a couple of the new commons that we got, as well as take a look at my equipment as well. And from what I remember, I also picked up all the weapons at the weapon shop, so we no longer have to spend any kind of money on that, which is good. Another thing to note is the accessory that we got after we defeated Elgar. I do believe that it is called the Crimson Earring, and it adds 15 points to all of your stats. So this is an excellent accessory for any character that you think would benefit from it. I honestly think that every single character would benefit from this. Unfortunately, you only have one, so you really have to kind of take your pick as to which character you think would benefit most from it. I think I'll probably save this and give it to Zephie, or maybe give it to Rue, just because I feel like Judo is a very powerful character on his own and he doesn't really need the earring. And I'm not really making much use of my wizards at the moment, so I am going to hold on to that, but I would definitely recommend making sure to make use of that before you kind of forget about it. And as a little test, I actually made a mistake. I said I was going to go back to that pillar and save later. I was kind of planning on coming here, watching the cutscenes, going back out, and doing a little bit of grinding. But I've just realized that Rue leaves your party, and so I'm actually not able to do that, so that's my mistake. I had recommended saving at the pillar before you come to the city, so if you're watching the video right now and you're not playing at the moment but you plan to, definitely make sure that you save at that pillar. We will be seeing a pillar eventually, but it is going to be a little while, and it is always good to make saves just in case anything happens. So after you have come to the Southern Outpost and you've done all your shopping, you've fixed up all your skill points, your accessories, and your equipment, what you're going to want to do is come over to this area here and speak to one of the men to rest. But I think what I'll do is I will do all of that equipment fixing and whatnot off screen before we move on to the next part, because we are going to be doing a lot of cutscene watching, so that should be some exciting stuff, hopefully. I want to thank everybody so very much for watching, and I hope that I will see you next time.